Oh, Captain, my Captain. These are the Club Fantasy DFS Showdown breakdown videos for NFL Divisional Round Weekend. I am the Captain, Joshua Hudson, and this is my compass, Austin Amandolia. You can find us both on Twitter. He is at Austin_FFL. I am at the One Hudsonian. This video, we are breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. And Austin, we know these teams played a little bit earlier this season, but I want to let you remind everybody that they will not get flagged if they come and play these showdown slates with us.
Yeah, no offensive offsides being handed out from us in this matchup. But yes, you can come play with us on DraftKings and FanDuel. There are links in the description of the show to join both of our leagues. We will have contests all weekend on both sites, and on DraftKings, we will have showdown slate contest for both of the primetime games. That would be Green Bay versus San Francisco on Saturday, and this game right here, Kansas City versus Buffalo in Buffalo on Sunday night.
As a reminder, this is breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. Our first segment is Captain Chalk. Every single DFS slate has a chalk play. And Austin, who's the big dog that you are going to be filling those small field lineups with?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Josh Allen. If you had to pick a single player to score 30 points in this game, you're going to pick Josh Allen because he is the most sure thing to hit that 30-point mark. He does it so often. He uses his legs a ton. We saw him get a 52-yard rushing touchdown last week. Again, quarterbacks will tend to rush more during the postseason, and they're going to need to rely on Josh Allen if they want to win this game. So you got to love having him in that captain spot. If I'm playing in a large field, he's probably going to be played too much for my comfort zone, but I love Josh Allen. You love to pull for him as well. He's just a fun player to have on your fantasy team.
All right, and the next category here is called the Mutineer, because every captain has a nemesis that wants their job. These are the Contrarian Captain choices that offer variety and upside in larger tournaments. Rashee Rice, the rookie, has looked the part of a wide receiver one in an offense that desperately needs one. Could he be a contrarian option to unseat Josh Allen?
Yes, I believe he can be a contrarian option for Josh Allen. He may still be one of the top 3 captain players this week. So it's not the most contrarian you can get, but it definitely would give you something off of Josh Allen. He's just been getting all of the targets. He is suddenly playing in some ways what used to be the Travis Kelce role in this offense, where he's getting peppered with targets and causing the defense to focus their attention on him to open up other players in the offense. And also, part of what's happened in this team is that opposing defenses have said that we can't allow Travis Kelce to be the person to beat us. So Kansas City has responded to that by deciding which receivers are going to carve their path forward, and they've chosen Rashee Rice. He's been the one to help them continue progressing through the offseason with all of the target share he's getting. So I like him to continue charting that path moving forward. I think Buffalo, they're going to probably try and protect against Travis Kelce getting a little PTSD from 13 seconds. So it'll open up Rashee Rice to have some good football on Sunday.
Now, on the flip side of that, there's an embattled wide receiver one on the other side with the Bills that really hasn't done much of late. And I'm going through and I'm looking at the pricing. He's only the 5th most expensive player on this slate. What has happened to Stefon Diggs?
Yeah, he hasn't hit a ceiling game in a very, very long time. And I have to say something. I was wrong on Stefon Diggs last week. I had him picked as Captain Chalk because he's Stefon Diggs. In my brain, I'm like, this guy, he should be the chalk play. But then over the weekend before this game happened, I realized, wait a minute. We're talking about all of his poor weather, and people were actually pretty down on Diggs. And so I did end up playing him in a lineup, and he was only like 5% rostered as a captain. That is wild roster percentage for you to get leverage with a player with the upside of Stefon Diggs. I think that people are still going to just genuinely be down on him, and it's still a good chance to play him as a contrarian play. Particularly, too, I think people might buy into the L'Jarius Sneed shadow narrative because that's what Sneed has done throughout the season. But we saw last week, they're not going to leave Stefon Diggs on the outside to just get the number one cornerback. They move him around into the slot. They do what they can to get him open and get the number one cornerback off of Diggs. And it's going to happen eventually. I believe in Stefon Diggs. I believe that he is going to have that ceiling game happen at some point. And I think that this could very well be the week for that to happen.
Next category here is going to be the first mate, because every captain needs a reliable crew. These are the guys that are going to maximize those lineups. We talk about a lot of great players here with the captain and the contrarian picks. There's still a lot of really good options on this team. And let's start with Mr. Old Reliable himself, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, look, he could also be a contrarian captain, but I wanted to highlight him here as a first mate just because he hasn't really hit that ceiling recently where he's scoring 2 or 3 touchdowns, but he has been continuing to get peppered with targets and getting a decent amount of yardage despite having some drops here and there. His last game with over 80 yards actually came against the Buffalo Bills when they played in week 14. This Kansas City offense, they can still get hot. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Travis Kelce. So I don't care how bad it's been. They're going to be fine. Also, I just mentioned the L'Jarius Sneed, or not L'Jarius Sneed. I just mentioned the fact that defenses have said Travis Kelce can't beat us. What if Buffalo comes into this and they say, we need to cover Rashee Rice? He's beating us up. What if the first quarter happens and Rashee Rice has already got 4 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, and Buffalo says, okay, well, we got to cover him? That could open up Travis Kelce. What happens then if Kansas City is able to pepper Kelce? He could hit that ceiling. So I like having him in there. The thing is that there's a lot of expensive players. If you're playing these 4 guys we've talked about so far, you're going to have to get really creative at your punt plays, which we'll talk about later.
And the next guy on your list here, really one of the quietest 1,000-yard rushing seasons I think I've ever seen. And that's James Cook.
Yeah, it's wild. There was one point in the season, I don't know if this is still the case, but there was one point in the season where he had the second most rushes for 20 or more yards behind only Christian McCaffrey, which shocked me at the time because, again, it's been a quiet season for what has been statistically a good season for James Cook. The thing about James Cook is that he had a really good week against Kansas City in week 14, which is really surprising given the fact that Kansas City is a pretty stout team against the run. The thing is, he got 5 catches for 83 yards in that matchup, which is fascinating. It tells me that Buffalo is finding some creative ways to move the ball down the field against a Kansas City defense that likes to get creative with their blitz packages. And the way that you can beat blitz packages is using the screen game, which can benefit a guy like James Cook. Also, the volume has been more consistent in recent weeks. He's been getting consistently 15 to 20 touches per game. He hasn't had one of those sub 10 touch games in a really long time. So I feel like he is finally kind of broken out and taken this role over as the RB1 consistently in this Buffalo offense.
100% agree. Love me some James Cook this week. Next category here is going to be the deck scrubbers, and these are the aforementioned cheap punt plays that you need to fill out a lineup with a bunch of expensive players that can go off with one play and or limited opportunity. Let's start with Dawson Knox. He's been a red zone guy for this team, and I believe he scored a touchdown last week, correct?
Oh, he did, because I was very excited because I picked him as a punt play last week, and we're going back to him. Look, when Dawson Knox is in the lineup, they have him run routes, and Josh Allen finds him. I get the Dalton Kincaid hype, and I'm buying into it as well. I was a hater early on before the season began. I'll admit it. Because of Dawson Knox, I was a hater. I still like Dawson Knox, though. I think Dalton Kincaid, he probably does pretty well in this game as well, so I don't want to say don't play him. But Dawson Knox, I do feel, is a good player to always have just because he just seems to be this reliable emergency case for Josh Allen. Ends up getting those red zone targets, which we always like out of the tight end position.
All right, next guy on your list here, probably the one of the real definitions of punt play, Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, so remember how I said you have to get creative this week if you're going to play those expensive players? This is what I meant. So Mecole Hardman, he's had a funny journey. It's funny that he went to the New York Jets and it was like, that was a mistake. I should have stuck with Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City. And he came back, gets traded back. Kansas City had some plays for him last week, and that's what fascinates me about this play. It didn't work. He didn't go well, but the opportunities were there. And so they clearly were trying to work him into this, into the game plan. And I imagine they continue to do so. So I like having him as a dart throw, especially because if you're paying up for Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Stefon Diggs, like all of those players are so expensive this week, you're going to have to punt. And I would rather try Mecole Hardman than Noah Gray this week. Like that's kind of the decision point you're making. There's MVSs down there. I wanted to put MVS in here, but I just don't like the spot for him. I prefer to go with Mecole Hardman, so I think he's the preferred punt play for me this week.
Man, if MVS can't catch in regular weather, what makes you think he's going to catch in freaking -4-degree weather? Come on now, MVS. All right, this once again is your friendly reminder that you can play these DFS Showdown slates against us at Club Fantasy. If you hit the links in the descriptions, you will find them where you can play against us on DraftKings as well as FanDuel. Come take Austin's money. Come take my money. Rejoice. And this is why we do these videos, so that you can make money and we can say, congrats. We played a hand in that. The final category here is called the Kraken because, let's face it, these are the lineup traps that ultimately sink the ship. You got a couple options on here that honestly I just found myself laughing about. I want to start with your first one here because Leonard Fournette isn't even a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed when I saw this. DraftKings is trying to play us because Leonard Fournette legitimately got cut after the wild card round. He's still eligible to be rostered. I don't understand it. And you know what? Because that's such like a specific piece of knowledge that you need to have to be like, you need to be paying attention to know that Leonard Fournette got cut. I wouldn't be shocked if he was at least 1% rostered in this matchup because people like me would be like, oh, James Cook, he might be fine, but he might not get the touchdown. Latavius Murray might get the touchdown. Leonard Fournette might get that. Oh, he's not on the team. So this is just like a PSA. Leonard Fournette's not on the team anymore. I don't know what DraftKings is doing, sleeping on their job, but don't play him.
Trap. It's a trap. I had to get one Star Wars reference in here. The next guy on your list, honestly, I don't even know if he's going to be healthy enough to play. He missed last week's wild card game, and that's going to be Gabe Davis.
Yeah, so again, this is regardless of whether or not he plays. But I'm repeating what I did last week. 4 touchdowns ain't happening again. I think even more so than last week, there's a potential for Gabe Davis to trap some people into playing him because not only do people think about, oh, postseason Gabe Davis, but now it's postseason Gabe Davis against the team that made postseason Gabe Davis, right? We're not doing that again. It's not happening. Quit trying to make Gabe Davis happen. It's not working. I was hoping that it would be better this year. It's just not. Maybe he gets a touchdown if he plays, but I'm not counting on that. I'd rather spend my attention on guys like Dalton Kincaid, on Khalil Shakir that are getting higher target volume in this offense.
Yeah, Gabe Davis at 5.8K. You know what? Say 400 and go roster Khalil Shakir. He's been pretty damn involved in this offense. Not going to lie. All right, and this has been Oh Captain, My Captain, the DFS Showdown breakdown of the Chiefs and Bills. That is Austin Amandolia at Austin_FFL. I am Joshua Hudson at the One Hudsonian. You can find Club Fantasy on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Club Fantasy FFL, the URL, clubfantasyffl.com. Stay on our YouTube page. We have videos covering all of the NFL divisional round games. Breakdowns of the Packers, 49ers, the Texans, and Ravens. what was the other one we did already? Bucks and Lions, and of course this one, the Chiefs versus the Bills. Check out all those videos, and we'll see you for the next one.